Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem El Shai Bashem Rakakodash. Shalom to the 144,000 and rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to title this video, any camp teaching that Gentiles could be saved, the Most High and His Son is not dealing with you. So this is a video was put up by, I didn't even get a chance to watch the whole video, but I watched up until this point. And this is a response of a video that was put up by this gentleman right here, the elder out of Mississippi, Kazak, Elder Kazak, formerly of GMS Chicago. And you know what? Let me do this. Give me a second here. Okay, let me just kind of play it from here. Right here. Yeah, if you're teaching that Gentiles could be saved and they can be delivered in ships, that when ships come, they're going to beam them up too. And in the kingdom of heaven, you'll have Gentiles. Just being Gentiles and not being under is, well, they say under, but they're not going to get whipped and they're not going to work, and they're just going to be citizens in Israel. But the main thing I'm dealing with is the salvation, because you got these guys like Cornelius. You know, here it is 2025. It's less than 2 months. We're talking, what, a month and 9 days before 2026 comes in. January, of course. And here you got guys teaching that Cornelius is an Israelite is a big no-no. So, anyway, let me go ahead and let this play. Let's see where the Spirit takes me. So the name of this video, as you can see, three definitive scriptures showing all nations is going into slavery. That should be all nations are going into slavery. You know me. Right, all nations are going into slavery. Into captivity, I'm sorry. Underneath the Israelites. Right, what do you call it? Vassal state. You got vassals, you got overlords, vassals, and serfs. Whether they're going to be serfs or vassals, they're going to be under the Israelites. Not one of them going to be an overlord. And it's damn sure that not one heathen will be up on them ships, will not get delivered or receive salvation. Salvation meaning to, matter of fact, I'll go into that in a minute, just to go into the word salvation. A lot of people don't, like the Christians. Oh, we're saved? What do you mean you're saved? We're saved from the world of sin. First of all, you don't know the law. You never got the law. Anyway, let me go ahead and let this play.
You know, Priest Zabak, you don't take a plain stance against something, man. You know?
Yeah, Priest Zabak's name come up because he's still, and I thought he woke up, you know, he's still teaching. And not knocking him, you know, he's out there grinding, you know. So, you know, it's not like we hate him. But he doesn't, but what he said many years ago, that he's following, we're talking about what, 10, 13 years ago, whatever. You know, he made a statement that he said, I'm going to follow what the elders taught me. So you're going to regurgitate. So you don't, you're not in the spirit of Berea, the church of Berea, where Paul commended them over the church of Thessalonica. You got to check, because these seven, they went off on certain things. Hey, they never went into the chip. Anytime they went into the MOTB, they said, oh, that's talking about in your hand, meaning you take the gun up, you fight for Esau, and the mind, that means you following their ways, your mind said it. No. Revelation 13 and 16, which has got to be the most controversial scripture out there among the Israelite groups. It's a shame that 2025, the fucking last month, last 2 months of 2025, you still got guys talking about the MOTB is anything but the microchip. But now they're beginning to say, oh, it might be, they might throw a chip in there just to be on the safe side. Don't take the chip. But it's not the chip. So y'all see it, you know? You're going to find out GMS was always correct. They were always right. So let me go ahead and
further ado, let's go right into it.
Because, you know, pre-Zabak, you don't take a plain stance against something, man. You know? You come off like you don't want to offend anyone. You're just being honest, you know? If you have
Well, I'll say that he's going by what he was taught. That the spirit of Yahweh came on these guys. As I mentioned before. Job 32:9, I believe. I'm not going to go to it. Just to fact check it. Job 32:9, if I'm not mistaken. Great men are not always wise. Matter of fact, let me go to it because I want to read it in the NLT, maybe the amplified. Let's see if it's Job 32:9. I'm almost positive. If not, I'll find it. Yep, I found it. Great men are not always wise, neither do the age understand judgment. And judgment means this, you know, the scriptures. Not always wise, meaning wise to the scriptures. They don't break the scriptures down the right way. They did a great job. The Most High was dealing with them, but the Most High kept some things back. Divided unto them by what? By line. Yahweh by Shem Yahushai gave a lot of information to Jeremiah, a lot of information to Isaiah. Obadiah, 1 page of information, which is a lot of information in that one chapter. You know, Joel, not a book, not a 60 verse or 60 chapter book. It's a small book. Like the scholars say, major prophets and minor prophets, but they're all powerful. Joel, powerful. Amos, powerful. And when you go into Isaiah and Jeremiah, it goes into history too, as well as prophetic prophecies as well. Prophecies that took place during that time, and then prophecies that will take place. Okay, so great men are not always wise, neither do the age understand judgment. Therefore, we never read this right here, this verse. Therefore I said, hearken to me, I also will show mine opinion. Behold, I waited for your words, I gave ear to your reasons. Wilt ye search out what to say? Yes, I attend unto you, and behold, there was none of you that convinced Job or that answered his words. So let me come on back here. So we're right here at the 9th verse. Elihu and in anger rebukes Job. Now they say, well, he had Edomite friends, so those were Jake's. So these three men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then was kindled the wrath of Eliod, the son of Baachiel, the Buzite of the kindred of Ram against Job, was his wrath kindled because he justified himself rather than the Most High. Also against his three friends was his wrath kindled because they had found no answer, and yet had condemned Job. Now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken because they were elder than he. So he's definitely not Edomites or other nations. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouths of these three men, then his wrath was kindled. Job wanted the answer. They didn't have the answer. So Elihu came to the conclusion, great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. So we apply that to the seven. Therefore I said, hearken to me, I also will show mine opinion. Behold, I waited for your words, I gave ear to your reasoning, whilst ye search out what to say. You study, you put the scriptures together, right? Yeah, I attend unto you, and behold, there was none of you that convinced Job or that answered his words. So the Genesis, which they clearly sold out. They did what's called a 180-degree turn. Close this out. Close this out. Close this out. Yeah, because these, first of all, Genesis they're young men, novices, and they were overtaken by Satan. I believe that they made a deal. Said that about Tazadakia, said that about others. So let's go ahead and listen again. 3 definitive scriptures showing all nations are going to be saved and are going into captivity.
And to watch this priest about the thing about it, we're not here to cater to people's emotions, man.
That's it. We're not here to cater to your emotions. Some people are offended at the fact that we, even Israelites.
So these are the scriptures: Jeremiah 30 verse 16. They're all all the enemies of us against Israel are going into captivity. Egyptians are going into captivity. Edomites, all these nations, right? Psalms 2 verse 8. You can read the whole psalm from the first verse. Psalms 149 verse 8. So anyway, let's go ahead and let it play.
Call himself.
And I want to go into that word salvation in the New Testament.
Israelites offended at the fact that the Heavenly Father is using us to say all nations are going into captivity. And there's no exceptions. All of them, every last one of them. Okay? If you're a non-Israelite, your future is captivity underneath the Israelites. It is what it is.
Here to cater to people's emotions, man. You know? Because you know that, hey, Genesis is plainly going off. Which, you know, for those that, you know, you're watching the Israelite community, so to speak, and you're offended at, you know, our response to, you know, different camps and them going off in the doctrine, that's all scriptural.
That's right.
Now, we was reading about how the Sadducees were off. They were way off in doctrine. You think?
Yeah, we're set up to reprove and rebuke. Reprove and rebuke. You know, it's in Timothy. Reprove and rebuke. And it ain't the most popular job, but it's the most necessary job, because you got a lot of individuals going off. A lot of apostates out.
Yeah, because when Genesis taught this thing that the Gentiles can be delivered, saved, meaning they can be, you know, beamed up out of the destruction. What was the camp that got on them? GMS, major men of the camp, GMS camp got on them, including myself. I believe I did more than one video on that subject. We roasted them, and all the other camps were supposed to do that. This is not about staying in your lane. Oh well, that's his thing. No, somebody said, "Well, what do you think?" I'll give you an example. What if we were to go on one of these platforms that Nate has gone on, and the brother or the sister said, "Well, what about the MOTB?" And we'll tell them, "Oh, it's a micro C hip." Then he says, "Well, I had the bishop Nate on, and he said it wasn't." What am I going to say? I said, "Well, either he sold out, or he just don't know. The spirit ain't dead. The spirit didn't wake him up." So how do we know that you guys are telling the truth or not? I said, well, if the spirit's on you, the spirit will open up your eyes. If it's meant for you to see it, you'll see it. So we're not going to sweat it. Well, are you willing to have a debate with Bishop? No, we don't have no debate. We're telling you we're lecturers. We're not debaters. That's a topic right there. We tell you what's up. If you can't see it, then walk on down the street. But we're gonna have a discussion. We ain't having no goddamn discussion. You know, it's the true way or the highway. I'm gonna sit down and have a debate with Bishop Nathaniel about some goddamn mark. He knows it is, but he's embarrassed now. He knows it is. He's like, just like the Cornelius thing. He was wrong on that, didn't apologize. He's saying the same thing. He knows that the MOTB is a micro C hip. But when it comes, we're going to see what his zombies are going to do. Anyway, we're dealing with let me do this. And put in the word saved. Saved from a world of sin. A Christian, let's say they're saved from a world of sin, and they'll be a man married to another man. That's big in the black church. A lot of moles in the black church. Okay, so this is all. Let me go. I want to go to the New Testament. Okay, here we go. Let me do. Okay. Matthew 10:22, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Ain't nobody, if you say Jesus, people love you. Oh, you believe in Jesus? The name's sake is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. So let's look up this word.
Strong's G 4982. Sozo.
Save, make whole, heal, be whole. To keep safe, to save, like deliver. Your car is stuck on the train tracks. The train is coming. Somebody opens up the door, busts the window, and pull you out. That person saved you, right? Keep safe and sound. To rescue from. That's what I want. To rescue from danger or destruction. So that salvation that the New Testament is talking about is when the destruction comes, like Yahweh Shai spoke about. Matter of fact, I got to go into all these words. This is what I wanted, the main thing. To rescue from danger. Let me look this word up. Let me go to Mark 9. Mark chapter 9. Boom, 44. Cause ain't no nation gonna say, "Oh, I'm not taking it." You're gonna have some of them Edomites. I'm not taking the trip. It's the mark of the beast, and they're not gonna make it either. Okay, let me just read this from the 39th verse. And if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter into life maimed, or the kingdom, than having two hands to go into hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched. Now people say, "Oh, that's talking about the underground, that your spirit, when your spirit dies, you're gonna go underground and you're gonna burn forever." That's not talking about that. Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. This place right here, where the fire is not quenched. What does it say? The hell into the fire that never shall be quenched. He's talking about Babylon the Great, where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched. Let me go to this here. So you got the IUIC, the leader of IUIC, saying that there's an actual spiritual hell. So he's waxing worse and worse. And you got the zombies not bucking up against it. Okay, this is part of the Messiah's teaching about the course of discipleship. The language is hyperbolic, meant to shock listeners and communicate the seriousness of moral and spiritual choices. The core message: take decisive action. I'm sorry, to avoid what harms your soul. A deeper explanation. You know what? Let me see. Let me go this. Let me do this. Wait a minute. Give me a second. Let me do this. I don't know why they didn't play the whole, show the whole scripture. Okay. Okay. Meaning of better than having two hands into hell. Jesus' people literally cut off their hands. Where Jesus is not telling people to literally cut off their hands. He's using hyperbolic hyperbole. Give me a second. Yeah. I'm good. Go ahead. Yeah. What's that all about? That's great. It's pretty good. But you know what? I'm not even gonna watch the pay-per-views. I just watch it the next day on YouTube. But I'll think about it. Oh no, this is cheaper, way cheaper. Yeah. Yeah, but it's for the whole year. I mean, it's pretty good. 44 a year. Hey, well, I'll think about it. All right, thanks for telling me. Bye. I'm sorry, I had to take this call. Meaning of better than having two hands to go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched. Hyperbole for moral seriousness. The Messiah is not telling people to literally cut their hands off. A sin is spiritual. It's worth making an even painful sacrifice to avoid it. Nothing is worth losing nothing is worth losing your soul. Hell. And you got camps that teach hell, like I said, IUIC, which the Most High is clearly not dealing with the IUIC. Hell and unquenchable fire. And in the Messiah's context, the word translated hell is Gehenna. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, chat. And when you look up Gehenna, I might even look at it. I already know what it means, but a real valley outside Jerusalem, historically associated with idolatry and judgment. It's a garbage dump, where it's on fire. You cast the garbage in the fire, and it burns up. You got dead animals, carcasses of dead animals, and so forth. It becomes the Passover lamb. The rest of the lamb that you have, you burn it, so you can throw that lamb in the Gehenna. It becomes a symbol for ultimate separation from the Most High and consequences of rejecting the Most High's ways. They're not really saying hell. Unquenchable fire refers to the Most High's judgment, unstoppable judgment, not fire that literally burns forever, but fire that cannot be resisted or escaped when judgment comes. Right, you're not going to escape. If you're in America, there's no way you're going to escape unless you get beamed up in the ship, and that's only for the elect of Israel, not other nations. The image communicates finality and seriousness, not necessarily the psychics or physics. I'm sorry, the physics of fire. So they're saying it's more. I just want to see what they say. Does this mean does this mean people will burn in hell? Let's see what happens. It's not this main subject. I hope the IUIC zombies is watching this video. Short answer: your Messiah is using the imagery of fire to warn about judgment, but Christians interpret what that fire actually means in different ways. Here are the three main Christian interpretations so you can see the full picture. Eternal conscious torment. This is what Nate teaches, which he's clearly going off. yes, some Christians believe, yes, people who reject the Most High will experience ongoing suffering after death. The fire represents real, lasting judgment. So you committed one sin, you're gonna burn forever. For like a billion years go by, and you engulfed in flames. The punishment doesn't fit the crime. And the Most High says he's ultimately merciful. He's going to have mercy on the Edomites. Uh-oh. Tahar, what you talking about? He's going to have mercy on the Edomites because he's going to get rid of them. And they're going to come. The scriptures don't tell you how they're coming back. But spirits never die. So they're going to come. They could come back as Hamites or Canaanites or whatever. But there's not going to be any Edomites. That's the only nation that's going to be deleted. Look up the word deleted. You know, when you delete a video and you put it in the what do you call it, the trash. You know, you go to trash and you delete it. You can't get it back. You know, oh, I hit the button. Too bad, you can't get it back. It says how they understand the verse. The Messiah is warning about a real separation from the Most High that is described with fiery imagery because its seriousness, annihilation, conditional immortality, other Christian beliefs, the fire destroys rather than tortures forever. Okay, they make them a little bit more sense. So certain Christians don't believe in a eternal damnation in hell. Unquenchable fire means fire that cannot be stopped until its work is done. That unquenchable fire is talking about when Babylon gets hit, the fire is going to keep going up until it burns all the fuel, and then all of a sudden it's going to go out, and then you're going to have a plume of smoke billowing for a certain amount of time. Then that's going to eventually dissipate, and you're going to have a desert. Everything's going to be, in other words, it's going to be a desert. Like a wildfire. Right, like a wildfire. So Babylon the Great is going to be like a wildfire. 5,000 square miles of wildfires. No one can put it out. It's got to go out by itself. Is it going to take a year? It's going to take 7 years. Let's say it takes 7 years. Then it's going to take another 7 years for the smoke to. Hey, when the World Trade Center went down there, we went down there a couple of days after it went. You know, the buildings went. Then we went down there about a year later, and you know there was still smoke billowing from that area a year later, because we had a camp down there. It says how they interpret it: people don't burn forever; they perish or cease to exist after judgment. No, they come back, and the spirit comes back. Universalism, eventual restoration. A small group believe the Most High's judgment is real, but the fire is purifying, not eternal. Yeah, the Catholics speak about what is that called? Purgatory, or the 9 stages of hell. There's certain stages of hell, and you can work your way out of hell. If you go into the whole study on what the Roman Catholics teach, is that all people will be restored to the. Yeah, they're going to come back in bodies. How they view the verse: the fire represents intense correction and endless punishment. Important insight: the Messiah uses metaphorical, dramatic imagery, hyperbole, to communicate the seriousness of sin and the importance of choosing the Most High. He is not given a physics lesson about literal fire. So does Mark 9:43 mean people literally burn? Not necessarily. It depends on theological interpretations. Some say yes. Some say no, destruction. That's what we say, destruction. It's talking about America being on fire after the missiles hit it. Others say, no, purifying judgment leading to restoration, purgatory, so you can understand. What is universal across Christianity is this: the Messiah is urging his listeners to take spiritual choices seriously. What Jesus meant by Gehenna interpretation. We're going to ask another question: the difference between hell and the lake of fire. Okay, let's deal with that. This is a little different subject, but we're going to get back into the Gentile thing. Here is a clear biblical-based definition, a distinction between hell and the lake of fire. Two different things. The scriptures say in Revelation that hell is going to be cast into the lake of fire. But Christians say the lake of fire is hell and hell is hell. So how are you going to cast hell and hell? Is that because they are not the same thing in scripture? Hell, Hades, right? Gehenna, right? The Greek word is Hades, but the Hebrew word is Gehenna. Well, Gehenna is a Greek way of saying the Hebrew word, the valley of Hinnom. In English Bibles, the word hell can translate different original words. That's why confusion happens, right? That's why you got IUIC saying that there's an actual hell. And they started teaching that about 3.5 years ago. So the Most High came and, I forgot to tell you, Nate, there's an actual hell. It says Hades, Greek, New Testament, means and this is why the Roman Catholics are so bugged out, because what they're taught is when they go to church, don't question nothing. Don't question anything. It says means the realm of the dead, not final judgment, temporary, holding place before resurrection. Yeah, meaning the grave, right? Sheol, Sha'awal in Hebrew. Revelation 20 verse 13 says Hades gives up the dead. Oh, so you're going to be burning in hell for a couple of years. Then you're going to say, what's going on? The ceilings open up and I'm going into judgment. And the Most High going to judge you. Then he's going to throw your ass back in hell. The scriptures speak about cunningly devised fable. That's a cunningly devised fable to scare the people. That's why you think Nate is using it, to scare the people. If you leave the IUIC, you're going to burn in hell. They even had they got a video on it where you got IUIC members burning in hell, and you got another IUIC member doing an interview with them. Lake of fire, valley of Hinnom. See, refers to the valley of Hinnom, which is the Messiah's main word. Translate hell. This is why we don't deal with Christians, because they're bugged out in the mind. Let me do this. Let me do this. Okay, let me do this. Okay, let me do this. Let me go to this one. Okay, give me a second here. I know I'm going long. I didn't want to intend to go long. IUIC hell. Is a short. I'm trying to get that short where you got people actually hit IUIC members that fell off. Let me do this. Let me do this. shorts. Let's do this. Let's see if it comes up this way. But I did see it. Okay. It says how to escape hell. This is a year ago. Let's go. Let's let this play. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
The leaders are to set men in order. So when we talk to the men, we say men got to be built up. Women got to be built up to know how to conduct themselves in the business of the Most High. Assignments and the responsibilities of the Most High's business gets handled. That's the gospel. Because when the business gets handled, we're getting closer and closer to the kingdom. Ain't no such thing as I believe in the Lord and just letting all the business of the Most High go to the side. That's not what the Most High is talking about. The Most High, this is the vineyard of work, putting bricks in. And that's what the leader's supposed to be able to do. Supposed to be able to teach you, to cause you to aspire to be great leaders. To know how to inspire people, to know how to reach into the souls of your brothers and sisters and see where their pain is. And say, this is the cure for you, my sister. This is the cure for you, my brother. This is in the Bible. And you bring them out of that mess, and therefore their hell begins to escape them. So the leaders are to...
Oh, the hell begins to escape them? What the fuck did this... What did he just say? Hold up now. Okay, this is 2 years ago. America, this is a short. America is not heaven, it's hell. One year ago, America is hell. Where's this eternal hell at? People have been through hell. And they're going to go to a deeper hell, a worse hell. Let me see. Sons of Thunder featuring Judah Blood. Bear me for a minute, y'all. Bear me for a minute, y'all. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. But they do an interview. Some guy, IUIC goes down to hell and interviews former IUIC members that are in hell. You know, we should have stayed with the the IUIC. Okay, why live in hell just to go to hell? Oh, wait a minute, just to go to hell. This is when they just changed it. So this is 3 years ago. This is when they just changed it up. These dudes are gone.
But what profit is it for men now in this present time?
So God is asking, what profit is it for you brothers living in this present time?
To live in heaviness.
We already living in misery right now. Listen what God said. So he's saying, what profit is it right now in this present time to live in misery? Come on.
And after death,
after you die,
to look for punishment.
What's the point? So your life is already just, for lack of better words, I can say some garbage right now. Because we're at the bottom of society.
Right.
So if my life is garbage now, why would I live through a garbage life to wake up to everlasting punishment? Why not? Isn't it just easier? Because I got to live in the garbage anyway.
Hold on. He got fringes on the towel. He got fringes on the towel. These dudes are a trip.
Give me Proverbs 15 and 15 to prove that. I got to live in, it's going to be bad is what the Bible says. Why not just do what God says to wake up to everlasting life? Why suffer now just to die, then to suffer for eternity?
Bring it out.
What?
There you go. This is when they just changed. This is 3.5 years ago they changed it. And I guess he gave the order, this is the new hell. Hell is not the grave. It's a place where you burn forever. You can be an Israelite, so you better be careful. Don't leave IUIC. And what happened when he said that? They all said, I ain't got no problem with that. That makes all the sense in the world. Now, if he changes it back and said, no, I was wrong about it, guess what? They're going to change back too. So let's listen to this madness here. Then you understand why, like Genesis, they're mad. They're madmen. Two madmen. Deacon Akar, priest Akar, whatever he decides to be that week, with his fitted on. And then you got Brother Hassad. Two reprobates. And I know they're watching too.
For lack of better words, I can say some garbage right now. Because we're at the bottom of society. Right. So why, if my life is garbage now, why would I live through a garbage life to wake up to everlasting punishment?
And then you see this guy with dreads down to his back. This dude's up completely out of order.
Why not? Isn't it just easier? Because I got to live in the garbage anyway. Give me Proverbs 15 and 15 to prove that. I got to live in, it's going to be bad is what the Bible says. Why not just do what God says to wake up to everlasting life? Why suffer now just to die, then to suffer for eternity? What point is that?
But what profit is it for men now in this present time?
So God is asking, what profit is it for you brothers living in this present time
to live in heaviness?
We already living in misery right now. Listen what God said. So he's saying, what profit is it right now?
Another dude with long dreads, completely out of order. This guy got long dreads, completely out of order. What does 1 Corinthians 11 say about men having long hair?
This present time to live in misery, come on.
And after death,
after you die,
to look for punishment.
What's the point? So your life is already.
So they're definitely teaching that there's a hell. See if I can find some more. All we need is this video right here. This is all we need. America's hell. But there's another hell that awaits you. So as you can see, it's you know that what I call it, organized madness. Complete madness. Hey, but anyway, I'm sorry. Let's come back over here to this video. I kind of lasted on this subject a little too long. Let's come back over here.
Second.
Cornelius is an Israelite. Israelite. When Paul said, I'm apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify my office, Romans 11, he's saying he's going to Israelites that don't know that they're Israelites. He has to wake them back up.
Timothy 4:2, preach the word, be instant, in season, out of season. Here's the point. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. We got to suffer these apostates and their BS until Yahweh Shem Yahushai take them out of the way. Next verse. For the time will come. This is why we have to constantly reprove and rebuke. And a lot of the videos we do is reproving and rebuking these wayward Israelites, these apostates, which the word of.
I got to look at this. These churches are gone. They're done. They're completely done. The serpent in the garden was not a Canaanite, and history had to know. There's no comet. Stunning new 3-eye atlas details. NASA goes into damage control mode. They scared. These devils scared. They scared. This nonsense. The black church is demonic. So I gotta watch this. Kirk Franklin tries to rationalize you know what I want to say. You can see the word, which if you're saying that, that means you're one of them. You're one of them. But we're gonna get into that too.
Apostate means one who is fallen from the faith. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, speaking untruths.
Yeah, what these guys got, Hassad and Hakar got, they got the young guys, the young people. They got that hip hop Hebrew Israelite thing going. So you're going to get a lot of young people following YNs following them.
And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. So that's why we got to constantly reprove and rebuke. And we don't give a shit if certain of you Israelites out there don't like it. You can call it camp banging all you want to. But the fact is that these other Israelite camps are going way off, man. Okay, a lot of them are set up as stumbling blocks for this.
All of them are set up as stumbling blocks. Every last one of them.
For this thing of ours, for the way of this ministry, for the
priest Zabak is a stumbling block. Okay, Captain Zariak is a stumbling block. They all say Nate is IUIC is a stumbling block. All of them are stumbling blocks.
It's truth. A lot of these other
Wi-Fi stumbling block. They believe that Cornelius is a Edomite. Why? Because they're following Zabak.
Camps are set up as stumbling blocks. So if you fallen, if you're fallen by these other camps, then there was a stumbling block on you. They were your stumbling block because you followed them and then you fell off. They were your stumbling block. A lot of guys follow these other camps and eventually fall off. All right, you got guys in GMS that fell off too. Not to say we're not the true camp. We're the true camp. We're the camp with 100% truth. Begin fell the pastor on down. All right. I mean, ultimately you fall off if you're not a member of the elect. But the stumbling blocks, you better believe they play a part in individuals falling out of the truth. Stumbling that. Why you think the Heavenly Father placed them there? And I'm telling you, a lot of these camps, except for GMS and our true affiliates, they're set up as stumbling blocks through the Spirit. That's why their doctrine is way off. Okay? 2 Timothy 4 and 5, but watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of that ministry. And that's what we live by. We had GMS and our true affiliates. But the point is, we're set up to reprove and rebuke. We see you going off, we're going to reprove and rebuke you with all long suffering and doctrine, because it's all about the doctrine. Oh, look at that. Boston Brothers is doing a video why sound doctrine is so important. Yeah, especially now with all these apostates. This is the best time for sound doctrine. So let's get back to the video.
I think Yahweh's men weren't getting on the Sadducees. You know? Once again, the Sadducees didn't believe in anything. And just as you have camps now, you had camps back then.
Pretty much some wicked scribes and Pharisees, Yahushua avoided them. They were the ones that messed with Yahushua and his men. They beat him, and they said not to use that name in Acts 5.
You know. But yeah, us here at Great Millstone, we're defenders of the faith, man. That's why we be getting on different people, and it's not anything personal, man. But I'm gonna say for you, Priest Zabak, to be honest,
you reprobates out there, you can take it personal. We don't give a shit. We don't care. As long as we're speaking 100% truth. That's what we're called to do. Reprove and rebuke.
I want to know your stance still concerning the MOTB. Do you still believe that it's sin? That it's philosophies? It's what you do? Or do you believe it's the CHIP? Because see, the thing about it, all you Israelite leaders are going to be held accountable, man.
Yeah, here it is. Less than 2 months, a month, and a little bit more than a week before 2026. And here you guys still teaching that the MOTB is something other than a micro C hip. I can't wait till that happens. This guy probably do the breaking news. Trump, maybe somebody else. And then everybody gonna have to. You know what you're gonna think about it. when you got to go down to the doctor or the tattoo artist and get chipped. Once you want to continue to work, you got to get the chip. So we're gonna see who's who. We're gonna see if you're a real one, meaning one of the elect. The elect is not gonna take the chip. If you're one of the elect, you are not going to take the chip.
And we're going to be held accountable too. But that's why we're speaking the right thing. Okay? And you know what you see going on right now as far as the back and forth and everything that everyone is doing, it's all scripted. And people are back to do what they're supposed to do. You know? I'm gonna get this real quick. This by the same brother, GMS All In 144. All right. Which the elect are gonna be all in. Cause that's really all we have, This is all you hope for elect have. Sirach 18:1. He that liveth forever have created all things in general for his purpose. Once again, there is no free will. If there was free will, Esau, Edom would have kept the birthright. He would have kept the blessing. He would have.
Yep, that's right. Let me see if I can fast forward. All right, let me see if I can fast forward to get to what he said, and then
himself into the free will. Hey, what's that? Proverbs 16, and what's that? By Noah chapter 16, the Lord have created all things. Let me find that real quick. For himself. And the lesson really wasn't, necessarily about free will, but you know what? Spirit want to go into. Okay? Because if you an Edomite, you're not going to receive salvation. You're going to be the devil.
Yeah, it is right here.
Right. If you're an Edomite, you're not going to receive salvation. I don't give a damn if you're a so-called good Edomite. If you're any other nation, Canaanite, Ammonite, Moabite, Ishmaelite, you're not going to be delivered you're not going to be saved.
And we ain't going to be like guys like Genesis to tell y'all can be saved. You ain't going to be on the church.
Because they sold out. We immediately said, we jumped on the bandwagon and said, look, you guys sold out. In 1 week, you was teaching that the Gentiles going into captivity. The next week, boom. Oh, no, the Gentiles can make it.
Nope.
Right?
Hell no.
And
so they definitely, so the news is out. Genesis sold out. even Elazar said that. He said, them guys, I always had trouble with them guys. He said that Elazar said that they pulled that up at an earlier time, and he had to cut them. He said they do what the fuck they want to do, man.
Damn Edomite on the chariot, hell no.
And this guy, these two, Hassad and Akkad, they're not gonna make it. They're stumbling blocks. That's all they are, stumbling blocks. Bishop Nate, stumbling block. ISUPK, they all stumbling blocks. Even though they teach Israel, but at the end of the day, all that you taught about the scriptures, the things that you were right on, if your followers take that chip, they're gonna be destroyed, and you're gonna be destroyed for not warning them. And you can't say you didn't know. Because the Most High sent his men, the men of GMS and their affiliates, to tell you the truth.
Like the videos I've been doing, they're called the chariots of Israel. That's what Elisha called them, because they only pick up Israelites. Hey, Elisha got abducted, right? He was picked up, right? What nationality was he? He was a Hebrew Israelite.
Right, the chariots of Israel. The chariots of, let me go to that. The chariots of Israel. I know it's in 2 Kings. The chariots. Like I said, I know it's in 2 Kings. I believe it's 12. Okay. Wow, it's there a bunch of times. Okay, let me do this. Let me do it this way. You know what? Let me do this. Oh, I put in. Can you graft an orange into an apple tree? And the answer is no. The only ones that could be grafted in that olive tree, Romans 11, is the same olive branch. Esau don't represent the olive. The scriptures, I went through some scriptures. Israel is represented as wine. Israel is represented as salt. Israel is represented as olive, olive leaves or olives. Give me a second. Elijah the prophet gets taken up into a chariot of. Okay, it's 2, but I say 12. The prophet Elijah was taken up into heaven in a whirlwind on a chariot of fire, which is a UFO, as described in 2 Kings 2, verse 11 to 12. So let me actually go to the. Let me do this. And it came to pass as they still went on and talked, Elijah and Elisha, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire, a UFO, and horses of fire, the power of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot, I should have put in not chariots, but chariot, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in 2 pieces. He took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him. Does that mean he was butt naked? Did they take his? Oh, that's something. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in 2 pieces. He took up also the mantle of Elijah. So he was changed. That's 1 Corinthians 15, 50th verse on down. It said they're going to be changed. So not only we're going to get a new body, we're going to get a new in order for you to go, you got to understand this. The chariot is a part of the kingdom of heaven. It's parked up there in heaven. So you can understand. Because the Most High deals with the spiritual and the physical. He can take things from the heavens and create a physical thing from the heavens in the physical realm. So you can't do nothing to a chariot. You can't blow it away. You can't do nothing. It's part of the kingdom of heaven. So in order for you, flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven. So Elijah was literally changed. He got that body without dying. 2 Corinthians 5, where it says there's a tabernacle in the heavens, eternal tabernacle. That's where you have this one body in the spiritual realm. Then you come back in the physical realm looking different, Then when you die, your body gets buried and your spirit goes back into that tabernacle, that body in heaven. So that's what happened with Elijah. That's why the clothes. I don't know if he's butt ass naked, but it doesn't matter because they gave him spiritual clothes any goddamn way. You feel me? Because he said the cloak. Back then, that was his thing. I can't go nowhere unless I got my cloak. So he left the cloak. Right? He left the cloak, and that was no joke. And he took the mantle, which is the cloak of Elijah that fell from him, and smote waters and said, "Where is the Lord, the Most High of Elijah?" And when he also had smitten the waters, they parted hither and thither, and Elisha went over. It says, and he took the mantle, the cloak of Elijah that fell from him. He took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of the Jordan. It said his clothes, and he saw him no more, and he took up of his own clothes and rent them. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. Let me go to the NLT 2:12. Let me go to NLT. Because that mantle was Elijah's mantle. They said, my father, and the spirit clothed Israel, and as they departed from the sight, Elisha tore his clothes, and Elijah saw it and cried out, my father, see the chariots and the charioteers of Israel. Right. And as they disappeared from sight, Elisha tore his clothes in distress. Okay, his clothes in distress. Elisha picked up Elijah's cloak, mantle, or cloak, which had fallen when he was taken up. Then Elisha returned to the bank of the river. Then he smote the river, the water, and it split. So he was actually changed. You got the Christians saying, well, how can he come back in reincarnation when he never really died? Well, he died a different way. He died naturally. His spirit separated from his body. I'm sorry. His body went up with his spirit, and that spirit, when you go to when you watch the Star Trek, when they say "Beam me up, Scotty," that's exactly what Esau knows that exists, and that's what happened with Elijah. The body was dissolved, and the spirit was there, and it had a spiritual body waiting for him. This is something else, man. Anyway, this is going into another subject. Please forgive me. Let's just do this. Let me come back here. Come back over here. Because you dudes are you definitely going off when you say people of the other nations are going to be beamed up in the ship if they're right with the Most High. How are you going to be right with the Most High? The only ones that's going to make it in them ships are Israelites that happen to be the elect. So the Most High is going to save an Edomite, but not save a Jake that's not the elect. Make that make sense. I'm telling you, these guys sold out.
Shai was abducted. He was picked up. What nationality was he? Hebrew Israelite, tribe of Judah.
Hey, if you in America, you an Edomite, you're going to be burnt to a cinder. Right. You're going to be incinerated. All right? If you left alive long enough, that's right. If you make it to when the missiles hit, you're going to be burned.
That's why you better go to a neutral country, and it'll just go right into captivity. You don't taste the fire.
In the lake of fire, if you're an Edomite. Right. In America. Now, if you
Lake of Fire is America.
Edomite overseas, you know.
In America, Babylon the Great, the only ones making it out of here when the destruction happens is the elect of the nation of Israel. Everybody else is going to be, if they're left, they're going to be burnt to cinders by either those chariots or the nuclear missiles. If the nuclear missiles don't get you, which is highly improbable, nuclear missiles going to cover, the Lord say he's going to sweep Babylon the Great with the besom of destruction. You look up the word besom, B-E-S-O-M, that's a broom. So the Heavenly Father is very meticulous with his broom. The missiles are going to function like a broom, sweeping across America, destroying everything in its path. But let's say the nuclear missiles don't get you, the chariots will. The laser beams of fire coming out of them chariots, pursuant to Luke 12 and 49, the chariots of the Lord won't get you. All right? The chariots of the Lord is going to be used to deliver the elect and to destroy the non-elect with those laser beams of fire. Okay? And the nuclear missiles. That's why America is going to be turned into a lake of fire. Let's go on.
You're going to go into slavery if you're left alive.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
And once again, you know, these other Israelite camps, y'all want to play patty cake with the nations. You want to butter up
This is it right here.
the nations and speak unto them smooth shit, man. Fuck that. Right. They going to slavery, man.
Going into slavery.
You know? They going to be saved. You know, hey, we don't got to use any type of wordplay, bro. They just going to slavery. We don't have to say they're going to be saved for slavery.
That's right.
You know? They just going to slavery.
They just going into slavery. So that's where I got the inspiration to put this little list together. 3 definitive scriptures showing all nations is going into captivity, as in slavery, underneath the Israelites. The first one is Jeremiah 30 and 16. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's not a few of them going to be not be enslaved and the rest are going to be. No, all of them, every last one of them, beginning with their kings. Their leaders are going into slavery. If they're non-Israelites, they're going into slavery, man. Even the elites of the other nations, especially the Edomites, they're going into captivity. They're the first ones that's going to go into captivity. You kidding me? Jeremiah 30 and 16. We're going to say what the Lord tells us to say. All right, we're not going to speak to appease you people out there, you unlearned dullards out there. You unlearned dullards. That's what you are, a bunch of unlearned dullards. We're not going to speak to appease you. You ain't going to be around when the destruction comes with your unbelief. All the nations are going into slavery, captivity. Yeah? This is Jeremiah 30 and 16. It says, therefore all they that devour thee, devour who? The nation of Israel, the Israelites. All the nations had a hand in devouring us. Read Lamentations, the 2nd chapter. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured. So we devour mean we're going to take everything from them. All right, we're going to take their riches. That's in Isaiah 61, Isaiah 60, Isaiah 61, and other scriptures saying that we're going to take their riches. And ultimately we're going to take them. All right, when we come back into power, beginning with the elect of the nation of Israel. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured. And all thine adversaries. Now you go in the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter, it gives you a list of our adversaries, beginning with the Edomites. And basically that list is all the other nations. They're all our adversaries. They were happy when we were brought down as a nation. Again, read Lamentations, the 2nd chapter. So we're going to be happy when we're brought up as a people, the people of the Lord, the Israelites, and we get to take them as our possession. We're going to be happy. We're not going to do it in sorrow. We're going to do it in happiness. Okay? That is the future, man. It says, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, not some of them. Some of them are going to be showed favor and the rest are good. No. All of them, every last one of them. It says, all thine adversaries, every one of them. That's, if you're a non-Israelite, you're an adversary to the nation of Israel. All right? If you're a non-Israelite, you're an adversary to the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect. Okay? Especially the Edomites. The Edomites, on the whole, are our adversaries. Okay, beginning with them and all the other nations. All thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. See? So they're going into captivity. Every last one of them, they're going into slavery. Let's go from there to Psalms 2 and 8. So definitive scripture number 1 was Jeremiah 30 and 16. And you have some people break it down. Well, it says enemies. Well, guess what? All the nations are enemies. All the members of the other nations are enemies. It is what it is, man. They all were happy when we were brought down as a nation. So they're all going into captivity.
They all were happy when we were brought down as a nation. I'm glad he said that. Beautiful. Precept just popped in my head. There's the main verse that I want. Let's start from the 14th verse. Matter of fact. Right, the Most High's anger over Israel. You can read this whole chapter. So this is part of our punishment. Amos, what is that? Amos 3:1. Go to 14 and 15. Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee, and they have not discovered thine iniquity. They didn't tell you that you were going off to turn away thy captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment. Banishment, let's look up the Hebrew word. Banishment is to be, you're part of a land, and the punishment is you out of the land. You know, you're no longer part of this kingdom or this land. Banishment. Let's see what the Hebrew word is. And we're exiled, by the way. We're exiled. The word there is madawak. Right, a thing to be drawn aside, push out. Enticement, seduction, a thing to be, a thing to draw aside, to push out. I'm trying to find out how many times it's written in the book, because it's only written there one time. Let me go to the root. Nadak. Right, drive away. Right, banish. There you go. We were exiled. Our land is over there in the Levant. We're over here in this land, and it's scattered all over the place. Okay. Causes of banishment. We were banished. All that passed by, all that passed by is who? Other Israelites? No, it's other nations. All the members of the UN, they all know that we're the Israelites. It's a secret that they're not supposed to indulge to the world. All that passed by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head. These are the other nations at the daughter of Jerusalem, which are Israelites, men and women, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thy enemies, 16th verse, have opened their mouths. Who are all our enemies? These other nations. Against thee, they hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it. And you can read this whole chapter. So that's all the nations. There were some of the nations that didn't enslave us. They weren't powerful nations. They're going to be up under us too. Certain Edomites are going to make it. No, you're going to have to pay for what your nation did. The prophets were righteous. They had to go in. The king, Deuteronomy 28:36, the king had to go into captivity whether he was considered righteous or not. That represented David.
They're all going into slavery. They were created to serve us anyway. A servant is a slave, okay? All the other nations, they were created to serve us because we're the Lord's.
Yeah, we're going to be kings. If we're going to be kings, the other nations are going to be what? Our servants.
Royal people. As Israelites, we are the Lord's royal people. Deuteronomy 7:6 goes into that. So their purpose in life is to serve us, the Israelites. The other nations, that's their purpose in life, to serve us. And that's exactly what they're going to do in the kingdom. Okay? They're going to serve us. So this.
But they're teaching that because they've sold out. And we can't prove it, but that's what a sellout. Hey, when Tazadakia did what he was doing, what he's doing, we the ones that jumped up and said, this guy's sold the fuck out. And then we said, well, Buddha Arya and Shah, they sold out too because they saw the shit going down and they ain't do nothing about it. Anyway, Shalom, on to the next. I didn't give you any precepts on Gentiles, but when you go like to the New Testament and you look up, matter of fact, let me do this. I'm going long, please forgive me. Gentiles. $129 times. I just want to go to the New Testament. Galilee of the Gentiles. Let me see, 10. Go not to 5. These 12 Jesus set forth and command them, saying, go not to the way of the Gentiles and any of the Samaritans see not. Don't deal with any of the Gentiles, because they're not going to receive salvation. Right here, 18. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the what? And the Gentiles, the other nations. A light to lighten the Gentiles. These are Israelites. Israelites are being called Gentiles now because they were scattered. John 7:35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed, the Israelites that's dispersed among the Gentiles or other nations, and to teach the Gentiles or the nations? Now vocab says that means the Lord is going to go to where the Israelites are and the Gentiles are, and he's going to ask an Israelite, are you an Israelite? And he said, yeah, I'm not dealing with you. What about you? I'm a Gentile. I'm going to teach you. That's stupid. That's stupidity, man. Let me see what this says. For of a truth against thy holy child, the Messiah, whom thou hast anointed, both Herod and Pontius Pilate with the Gentiles and the people of Israel were gathered together. That doesn't mean that Pontius Pilate is going to be delivered. Acts 7:45, which also our fathers that came after brought in with the Messiah, Joshua, into the possession of the Gentiles, the Canaanites, whom the Most High drave out before the face of our fathers unto the days of David. Now, we took over the Canaanites. Did the Canaanites put us into captivity? No, but we took their land. Why? Because that goes back to Noah and Ham. Ham's son got the curse. Why didn't he curse Ham for doing that? He cursed his son Canaan. Revelation 9:15. But Yahweh said unto him, go thy way, for he is a chosen vessels unto me to bear my name. This is Paul, because they didn't trust Paul, because he was putting the order out to put Christians to death. To bear my name, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, before Gentiles, the Israelites, and kings, and the children of Israel. Now this is known as a, let me see if, what's the term? I forget the term. Apostle Gabar, Apostle Orion Lob, they know about heart. I always forget that term. It'll come back to me. What is it? There's a video on it too by these two Edomites. Let me do this. I'm sorry. Meaning. Hendiatrix, which means 3 in 1. It says, when it says this man chosen instrument, NIV, proclaim my name to the Gentiles, Israelites. And, this is better, to the Gentiles and their kings. These Gentiles are Israelites and their kings, the kings of Israel. And to the people of, that's the NIV. Let me read that again. I didn't know it said that. It said, but thank you, vocab, for telling us to go to these other versions. But of the Bible. For Yahweh said to Ananias, go, this man is my chosen instrument to proclaim. This is Paul, apostle of Gentiles, therefore I magnify my office. Romans 11, meaning he's going to teach Israelites in Colossus and Corinth and Macedon and Ephesus. He went further than the apostles did, as far as, landmass. To proclaim my name to the what? The Gentiles. These are Israelites. And their kings, King David, these different kings of Israel, and to the people of Israel. And to the people of Israel, which are these Gentiles. Right? Let me see if they use that word. Paul's mission is divinely assigned. To the Gentiles, Paul becomes the primary apostle. To non-Jews, meaning Israelite. Gentiles, state of mind, Israelites. To kings, Paul later testifies before rulers they went off on that. To Israel, he continues preaching to Jews as well. No, he's going in, his main thing is go to these Gentiles. That's his main thing, to push the Lord's name. But he's going to kind of, when he get a chance, he go teach them Israelites too. So they failed. Hendiatrician. That's the word. So anyway, let me come on back. So this is 3 in 1. The Gentiles are Israelites, and kings, Israelites, and the children of Israel, Israelites. Acts 10:45, for they of the circumcision, the Jews, Yahawadiah, which believed, were astonished, as many as came with Peter, because that on the Gentiles, the Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites, also was poured out the gift of the Holy Spirit. Acts 11:1, and the apostles and brothers that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of the Most High. Those Gentiles were Israelites that were in a Gentile state of mind, so you can understand. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. On to the next.